Nukes attract not only UFOs, but something bone-chilling. This is what's revealed by an ex-worker at Nuclear Depot in Nevada desert. Why have there been so many UFO sightings near nuclear facilities? There's been a rise in the number of reported UFO sightings across many places in the United States since 2020. Moreover, officials have expressed concerns regarding the repeated occurrence of UFO sightings over military bases. Is there any possibility that these UFOs are controlling military actions? Not so long ago, former U.S. Air Force Captain Robert Salas claimed that UFOs are real and interfere in the military's nuclear program. Additionally, former head of ATIP, Louis Elizondo, revealed that the U.S. military created environments to attract UFOs to study them. He noted that there was much data that showed UFOs are interested in nuclear activities and the latest weaponry systems. The UFO activity over U.S. Army bases has been observed since 1948, with the majority of incidents occurring at Malmstrom, Minot, F.E. Warren, Ellsworth, Vandenberg, and Walker Air Force bases between 1963 and 1996. Other sources stationed at Wurtsmith and Loring Air Force bases, where B-52 nuclear bombers were based during the Cold War era, also reported incidents. In 1976, Captain Salas was stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana when he received reports of a red glowing object hovering outside the front gate of the base. A security guard reported that the object had a saucer shape and was constantly hovering near the front gate. And at the same time, the missile system suffered a complete failure, with 10 intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, going offline due to a no-go inoperable condition, which caused several alarms to go off. After investigating the incident, a team of engineers from Boeing could not find any significant failures, engineering data, or findings that would explain how the missiles had been knocked off alert. The case of the failure remains unknown, but it was suggested that it could have been due to an electromagnetic pulse, an EMP, sent from an unknown source. Despite the severity of the situation, Salas believes that the UFO did not have hostile intentions because it could have caused permanent damage to the weapon system if it wanted to. The incident was reported by a UFO researcher, Robert L. Hastings, who collected information from various Army personnel, including Staff Sergeant Louis Kenwig, Airman First Class David Hughes, Staff Sergeant Joseph Chessie, and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Pacer, U.S. Air Force retired, in his 30 years of investigation. A similar attraction of UFOs towards nuclear bases was noticed in Canada as well. A report from Winnipeg reveals that over 200 years, there have been 2,000 UFO sightings reported in the Canadian province of Manitoba. In the mid-1970s, there were numerous UFO sightings all along the U.S.-Canadian border, with Manitoba being one of the places where a large number of sightings occurred. These sightings include a high number of cattle mutilations and were often seen over restricted areas where nuclear activities were conducted. Chris Rukowski, a Canadian UFO researcher, has studied UFO sightings in Canada for over 25 years and concluded that Manitoba has a long history of close encounters with aliens. His UFO research, which contains 30,000 reports, has been donated to the University of Manitoba. In 2017, author Grant Cameron published a book entitled Charlie Red Star, The True Reports of One of North America's Biggest UFO Sightings, in which he described in detail the largest UFO sightings in history witnessed by Manitobans. The province was stunned by the object known as Charlie Red Star, which was seen almost everywhere, every night in 1975. Cameron claims that Manitoba UFO sightings have connections to nuclear weapons because 35 years later he found out that the government secretly installed nuclear missiles and other weapons in restricted areas just south of the border. He believes that the sightings stopped after the missiles had been removed in November, and the author thinks that the nuclear technology that humans possess could be created after extraterrestrial contact. Strange occurrences near nuclear bases. The Reddit user Bumblebee Expensive claims to have worked on a now closed nuclear weapons storage depot in Nevada for 6 years and shared various strange occurrences. And the user writes, "When people say UFOs are attracted to nukes, they are telling the truth, but so much more goes on." The user claims to have seen a ball of light triggering a sensor on the fence line, causing security to respond, and witnessed 3 mutilated donkeys that were dropped off out of nowhere in with various organs removed. The user also claims to have witnessed a figure on the roof of the structure, and he writes, "It was 30 meters from me and 14 other personnel. I took a spotlight and shined it up there, and as soon as the light hit the figure, it disappeared. We all saw it happen," he said. He said, "I heard a man laughing maniacally once. Nothing there. Sweep with night vision and thermals revealed nothing. 3 other witnesses. We wrote it off as a laughing colonel, an urban legend passed down by the security personnel for ages." The user and his partner also heard a soft cooing sound coming from a hot pad loaded with 500-pound bombs, seemingly luring them past the pad and into the pitch black desert, but they did not pursue. During a training exercise, their machine gun overwatch team spotted 2 figures on thermals in the desert behind them, but their sweep revealed nothing. The user claimed to have experienced the weirdest event when they were responding to a truck approaching on the side of a nearby mountain. They visually confirmed the truck on NVGs, night vision glasses, but suddenly the headlights disappeared, and they believed the occupants had turned them off and were then approaching on foot. They called for K9 and moved to a blocking position where they waited for 10 minutes, but their radios died and they were out of contact for twice as long as they thought. "We are there for about 10 minutes when one by one patrol members overwatching us from high points of the inside call in lights appearing in our 12, 3, and 9 o'clocks, in effect flanking us, with fence line about 300 meters behind us. We see and hear nothing, not even on night vision glasses or thermals. Dogs never react. And suddenly, panicked patrol calls in that the lights are rushing us. We're already locked and loaded. I tell my partner to put a grenade in the tube. Nothing happens. Dog never indicates. Our radios die, and after 10 minutes, we hiked back to fence line only to discover we were out of contact for twice as long as I thought we were. Very paraphrased event because on phone, but our radios only started working when we were back at fence line," he said. The user claimed that those events, combined with the belief that UFOs are attracted to nukes, he says, "There is more, but these were the highlights or events I'm allowed to speak about. The world is not as normal as you believe it is," he said. Many other users found the same story in the video published on The Infographics Show in 2020 and began doubting Bumblebee Extensive if he copied the story. But the user later clarified that it was his story and added that he is the lead writer of the show. He also claimed to be the writer of the 100-day survival series on the channel. "There's things I can't talk about, as I signed a 30-year non-disclosure contract with pretty stiff penalties, but I'll say this. I know people think that there's these big conspiracies with the government hiding knowledge of this or knowledge of that. Truth is, yes, there are big secrets, but overwhelmingly the government is not actively hiding knowledge of this or that. It's literally just ignoring it because it can't do anything about it, or it doesn't pose a threat. It does spend some time and effort investigating it. You can see that there is a greatly increased effort to investigate UAPs now, but the truth is that a long time ago, a choice was made about certain things. Do they affect national security, or could we stop it if it did? If the answer is no, we've got bigger and more immediate concerns like the Soviet Union starting a nuclear war, explains the user Bumblebee Expensive. Mr. Elizondo suggested that those interested in more information about this subject, read UFOs and Nukes by Robert Hastings. The book describes the reality of UFO incursions at American nuclear weapons facilities. In UFOs and Nukes, there are documented incidents of UFO interference at the U.S. nuclear weapons facilities. The book describes incidents where unidentified objects were seen hovering near nuclear facilities, causing malfunctions in nuclear missiles and communication systems. Some of those incidents date back to as early as January 1945, months before the atomic bombings in Japan. Those events suggest that humans' most dangerous weapons have been under scrutiny by unidentified observers with advanced technology. The author argues that the UFO Nukes connection is significant and may be the reason for the appearance of mysterious aerial crafts in the skies over the past 70 years. Elizondo recommends this book to those interested in learning more about this subject. And this is on Collective Spark by Vicky Vermehausen-Wise. Please press the like button and share, subscribe. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.